What's up, everybody? This is Kristen Marie, certified sex therapist, bringing you the Sex Myth series, where every week we are taking on one new myth, and together we are discovering what the real truth is. Alrighty, so for this week's myth, it is one that is very important to me, and it is, if they didn't say no, then they obviously consented. It's pretty great that there continues to be more and more information coming out about what it actually means to consent, but I'm going to hit just a few of those brief points, as these little videos are just brief snippets of some information relevant to the topic. But this is one that I hope we just continue to see more and more information about, all of the ways that someone can tell that they are giving actual consent, or that someone that they're with is conveying that they're consenting fully to that experience. So let's take it for a second from the angle that you know that you are fully consenting, you are into this experience. You're pretty sure that you're showing all signs of enthusiastic consent. So that's a big deal. That's one of the things that we're talking about big time here, is there's enthusiastic consent. You're leaning into your partner, you're smiling here and there, you don't hesitate asking questions to see if they agree. You're going to start looking for what's called enthusiastic consent coming from their end. So enthusiastic consent, I want to take a minute and just break that down for what that might look like. Again, this is just like very, very brief, and just to get kind of the ball rolling, to see what it might actually look like in a lived experience. So the two categories that I talk about are what is said and what is shown. So typically with what is said, that would be verbal or potentially communicated, say, via text or things like that. And then also what is shown, like body language. So with what is said, talk about it. It can be fun and even sexy sometimes to ask questions. I have often talked to clients about, I kind of throw out the idea, if you feel like you can't ask questions, or kind of gauge where your partner might be, you probably might not be, as a couple, ready to take it to a next level. So that might be a really good thing to be looking for. Another thing that falls under what is said is check in with each other often. Just because you check in with each other at one point in getting to know each other, keep that a common piece of your relationship. I think that's responsible and very healthy. Okay, so that second piece for enthusiastic consent would be what is shown through body language. This one can be tough. Or it's not necessarily tough, but learning what to look for things that are shown non-verbally. So obviously, if someone is asleep, under the influence, and unable to consent in any way, shape, or form, it is game over. That is not in any way going to be something that is consensual. But if somebody is actively participating, well, I guess that's in and of itself, it's active. Are they leaning in, or are they pulling away? Do they look excited, or are they looking scared, like they're trying to find the words but they don't know what to say? Are they kissing back, or are they potentially freezing up? I mean, these are not things to ignore, and so that would be just a few things to look for in terms of whether or not there is enthusiastic consent on both parties. I think I'd throw just a third thought out with enthusiastic consent. Nobody is feeling guilted or coerced. So that is just a main factor, I think, also that would kind of blanket the whole situation. There are countless reasons out there why some people may not know how, or feel that it's okay for them to say no, or no thank you. There is a wide spectrum of comfortability in being assertive, and it takes years for some people to hone in these skills. But the problem is they don't have years to practice assertiveness before a potential sexual situation is presented to them where they need to know how to assert their desire in those situations. So if you're wondering at all, if you feel like you cannot or aren't ready to enthusiastically consent, then your decision is probably made right there. I will be honest that there are more charismatic ways than others to migrate talking about these things with others. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a few go-tos in your back pocket, and you will want those go-tos when a situation arises that you are needing to convey your limits. Charismatic or not, you can always just say no or no thank you. I think that is just fine. And for some of you out there wondering, yes, this includes seemingly benign signs of affection, even like holding hands and kissing. You have every right to say, I'm not really wanting to do that right now. And by no means is there anything that ever obligates you to engage with any other person on an intimate level. It is every single human's right to decide what they want to do with their body, regardless of previous sexual contact, marital status, coercion from their partner, or any other potential feeling of obligation someone might be experiencing. And a quick note to parents out there. Some of my hardest times as a therapist have been witnessing the emotional pain that teens often experience from being unprepared to manage their own consent in unwanted sexual situations in a healthy and responsible way. It can be so helpful if parents know how to teach their children the value of consent with anything having to do with their own body and the body of others. Children and teens can grow up knowing about both verbal communication and also about how to read certain types of body language. I think it's great that consent is becoming kind of a powerful parenting buzzword. And if you feel like you'd like to learn some more, a simple Google search with teaching children about consent will bring up just a whole list of some potential resources. If you feel like you'd like to learn more, start there. Alrighty, that's all we have today for enthusiastic consent. And I hope that you are enjoying this Sex Myth series, and I hope that by the end of the year, you just might end up feeling a little more sexually informed. All right, rock on.